everyone, welcome back to Sales Sold Success. I'm Allie.
And I'm Melissa.
We got Melissa in front of the camera.
There's been some requests to have me in front of the camera, and I'm not really a fan, so we'll see how this goes today.
All right, so we're going to discuss today how to become a real estate agent / realtor.
Yes, and so we're going to go over a couple of the steps, hopefully in order. But the first step is to do your research. You need to find an accredited school to do your educational requirements. And different states have different requirements. So some have longer hour requirements and then others a little shorter.
Yes, so just go to your state's Realtor Association. For North Carolina, it's the NCAR. And just check out the requirements for becoming a real estate agent / realtor.
And I think on that website they also have a list of schools, don't they? I think there's a list of accredited schools, so you could just choose from that list and do your research. Find out if they're in person, if they're on Zoom, if they're self-paced, which is our next step, is completing the pre-licensing course. They all have different fees associated with them, costs for the class. Some the books are included, some the books are not. And then the different options of course of study, which depends on the person.
Yes. When choosing a school, I would also suggest, this is one thing that I did, if you have a brokerage in your town that you're interested in maybe just interviewing with or joining, go and talk to them. Because they would have good advice, maybe even with the school, what school to go to,
Mm-hmm.
what teacher is the best, what format to go with.
Yeah.
So that's a good piece of advice. I did that and I liked the school that I chose. It was an in-person school and I enjoyed it and learned very well.
So I did mine at the very end of COVID, and I chose my school because it was the only one offering in-person classes at the time, and unfortunately the night before the first class they canceled to Zoom, so I was still stuck on Zoom, which turned out to be decent. I passed.
Good.
So it worked.
Yeah. I mean, people who take their real estate classes, pre-licensing class, it's only like a 70% pass rate.
Yes.
So when you go in it, be prepared. It's going to be hard work. I studied a ton.
Mm-hmm. I carried flashcards with me everywhere I went. If we were sitting waiting on dinner to come out at a restaurant, I was studying my flashcards.
Yeah, you have to live and breathe the material that you're learning in your real estate class. And for me, I did like 3 or 4 different avenues of learning.
Yeah.
Of course, there was the class. I bought the CDs.
Mm-hmm.
I looked up a teacher on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I did like Quizlet online, and of course they the school I went with had like weekly tests, practice tests also, and I guess 6. I also did like a small group study session each week.
Yeah, I did about the same. I bought the audio book from the school, read the book. That book is no joke. It's like what, 700-800 pages, I think.
Yes.
It's a lot. I read the book, did the class. Read your notes every single day, even after you've taken the class. Even after you're done with your class for the day, read your notes every day. So this gets you prepared for your class exam that I believe all schools, you're required to pass the class.
Yeah, you have to pass the class exam
before you can go any further. So study. Make sure that you have support, especially if you have children at home, that you have support to give you that time alone to study. But after you pass the class exam, you're going to prepare for the national and state board exam, which is timed. It is additional cost. And if you have to take it more than once, you have to pay for it more than once. And you have to pay the full fee, even if you only have to retake one portion.
Yes, and that's why you need to take it very seriously.
Yes.
At the like the first day of our class, our instructor informed us of the pass rate, and then he went through how much it cost. So if you have to retake any tests, you're going to have to pay more money, so that just ups your cost. So I was like, nope.
Yep.
I do not want to spend any more money.
Not to mention,
I was well prepared.
Yeah, not to mention you don't want that weight on your shoulder of, oh my gosh, I've got to keep studying because I've got to retake this exam again. You don't want to do it more than once. And different states have different financial requirements for this whole process as well.
Yeah, so make sure you know those too. Because I passed my class test on the first try. I think we had an option of taking a second time with no charge for the class.
Yes, we did.
But I passed it on the first time, and then I went and took the national and state. I passed those. But if you did not pass, you had the national and state, you had to pay again.
Yeah, the full price. You don't get half price if you only take half the test. Because it's 2 different portions, and they're timed. So you get your state portion and the national portion. So if you pass the national portion, but you fail the state, you have to go back and only retake the state. This is for the state of North Carolina, by the way. But you still have to pay the whole fee. You don't get half price for half the test. And it gets pricey.
Yes.
So after you do your state and national exams, you are ready to affiliate. So you need to do your research on where you would like to work, what brokerage you want to work for, and they're all different.
And this is a big, important decision, so don't take it lightly. I suggest at least going to interview with 3 different brokerages. Even if you have one in mind that you know you want to go with, go and interview so you can do your research, cover all your bases, see what is really your wants and needs. You're just now getting into this field, and another brokerage might offer something that you are really interested in.
And don't get blinded by the splits. You're starting out, so you need to learn. That's the most important part in your affiliation in the very beginning, is getting that training and that setup that you need, because that's going to set you up for the rest of your career. So,
yes.
And I interviewed with like 6.
I did 3.
And I had my mind set on one brokerage, and then I started interviewing with more and seeing all the options, and I went a completely different route than I had planned. So
yeah, I went with the one that I interviewed with before I even went to the school. That's the one I went with. But I did not just go with them automatically. I felt that if I interviewed with at least 2 others, that it was enough.
It's important
to make sure I was making the right decision.
Yeah, you need to know what your options are. So the amount of time that it takes for you to complete this whole process just depends on the type of learner you are. If you do self-paced and you learn better that way, you might get done in, I don't know, a week or 2.
I think
right?
2 weeks is...
Yeah. So, and then I did mine only on weekends. So
yeah, me too.
It took me, 8 weeks?
Yes.
Yeah. But it was nice because I didn't have to cram so much.
Yes.
So.
All right. So after you pass the pre-licensing, you get with a brokerage. There are post-licensing classes that you have to take. After there's 3 in the state of North Carolina. I don't know about any other states, but so there's 3 additional classes that you will have to take and pass those tests.
You have to pay for those as well.
Yes, so that's an additional cost.
I'm not sure if there's a book with those.
There is, and you have
just one, right?
Yes.
For all 3.
Yes.
Yeah, and you have a 120 day or 100. I can't remember how many.
I think it's 18 months.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Changed.
18 months. Yeah.
It changed. I think mine was a couple of years, but
so
now it's changed.
You have 18 months from the day you pass your exam, your state and national exam, to take those 3 post-licensing classes.
And then be prepared for all the costs that come after. After you do all those. In addition to the 3 classes, you got to pay like your MLS dues. You got to join a Realtor association where you are located. There in the state of North Carolina, there's a privilege tax, and there's a license renewal every year. And if you have any sort of like electronic lock box that needs to be paid monthly.
Yeah, that's monthly.
Yeah, so that's just, and then of
then
course
your E&O insurance.
Yeah, that's included
monthly.
in your brokerage's monthly fees too. So I suggest that before you jump into this, you have some savings, about 6 months worth of savings.
And a lot of people, that's why they do real estate part-time in the beginning, so that they have a secure income coming in every month while they're waiting to get going. But it's good to do your research on brokerages before you jump into real estate. You don't have to. I didn't, but I can see where it would be important, so that you're familiar with what kinds of fees you're looking at every month, regardless if you're bringing in money or not. You still have to pay that money out. So it's good to just have the knowledge.
All right, well, that is all the information we have. Melissa, do you have one last piece of advice for anyone looking to become a real estate agent?
I mean, I say you need to definitely interview with different brokerages to get those ideas. Make sure that you're prepared for that, regardless of where you go. You can't over prepare. But no, I mean, start making a list of all your contacts.
Yes,
I guess.
And I would just piggyback off that. Choosing the right brokerage is the most important thing you can do. Make sure you're getting the proper training and the best mentorship, because you will need that as you go through your first couple of years.
Yes.
But I hope you guys learned something today. And if you're interested in becoming a real estate agent or / realtor, I think it's great. Reach out to us with any questions that you might have. But otherwise, thank you for joining, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.